Hello students. In the last class we have discussed about the Galileo's experiment in force and laws of motion. Today we will be starting the Newton's first law of motion. To describe the motion of a particular object and its reason and the various parameters regarding the motion of an object, Newton gave the three laws which are termed as the Newton's laws of motion. So today we will be studying its first law. Its first law is related to a term known as inertia. As it is related to that word inertia, hence it is known as law of inertia also. So starting with law of inertia, first we will discuss that how we can define the term inertia itself. Inertia is a tendency, or we can say that it is a part which is related to the mass of an object, and it can be stated that it is a tendency. For example, if a body is in rest, it will tend to remain at rest, and if it is in motion, it will tend or it will want that it should remain in motion. So, the tendency of a body to oppose the change means if we are in a hurry or if we are moving, then we should be moving. We don't want to change the state of rest or state of motion. Similarly, an object or a body has a tendency to maintain its state of rest or its state of motion. So that particular tendency which opposes or which do not want to make the changes in its state is known as the inertia of a particular body. So this is the definition of inertia. Means we can say that if a body is in equilibrium, so it doesn't want to change its state of equilibrium. Similarly, inertia is also can be described as the tendency of an object to oppose the state which or the factors which changes the equilibrium state of an object. Now we will discuss that inertia being such tendency is related to the mass of an object also. It is related to mass because if the object is heavier, then it is difficult to stop that particular object. And if the object is lighter, let us consider that there are two objects. One is heavier and other is lighter. They both are in motion. They are moving independently and they both are in motion. So it will be easy for a person to stop the body or the object which is having lighter mass or which is lighter in mass in comparison to the body which is heavier in mass. It implies that heavier body has a tendency to be moving so on as we have to apply more force to stop it. Hence we can say that inertia is a tendency which is related to mass. So this is how the inertia is related to mass also. Now we will discuss about that there are various types of inertia. Basically we have three types of inertia. First is inertia of rest. Other is inertia of motion. And third is inertia of direction. As we said that while describing the inertia, that inertia is a tendency which opposes the changes. Now we are here to describe the inertia of rest. means inertia of rest is a tendency which will oppose the body at rest, means the tendency of a body to oppose the change in its state of rest. For example, if a body is at rest, it will tend to remain at rest, and inertia of rest will tendency of an object to oppose the change in its state of rest. For example, if a body is at rest, then it will tend to remain at rest. It won't allow or it won't want that the state of its rest should be changed. So that is the inertia of rest. Another, as we have discussed, that inertia of rest which opposes the state of rest means any change. So similarly is of motion, means inertia means which opposes the changes of motion. So tendency to oppose the change in its state of motion is the inertia of motion. While the inertia of direction is the body or the tendency of a body to oppose the change in its direction of motion. Means if a body is moving in a particular direction, it even don't want to change the the direction of its motion. So these are the three types of inertia. Now we will discuss that how these inertia are in a practical life, that how are they applied. For example, if we have a carpet, it is kept on the floor, and many people use the carpets at home, as we know. So whenever a we beat a carpet with a stick to remove the dust particles, it suddenly set into motion. So the dust particles tend to remain at rest. Means whenever we have a carpet, we beat it with stick, and we see that as we beat it with stick, many dust particles come out of the carpet, and they just tend to fall on the floor. They tend to fall on the floor because whenever they are inside the carpet, they are at the rest. And while beating them, we have changed their state of rest. And they want to oppose that beating because that beating is changing their state. So whenever they fall to the floor, it means that they want to remain in that particular state of rest. So this is the inertia of rest. Due to this inertia of rest, we can clean our carpets. Next, what we have discussed is the inertia of motion. Whenever an athlete runs, and after running a certain distance before taking a leap, so that the inertia of motion of his body at the time of leaping may help in his muscular efforts. Means while running a certain distance, an athlete takes a leap, means he wants to remain in motion. His body continues to be in motion, and his stopping opposes that change. Next is the inertia of direction. Its best example is a raindrop which is striking to cycle tire. Means they always fly in a tangent direction to it. Means whenever we have a water drop on the cycle tire, it always fly off and its tangent direction, because in its tangent direction it tends to remain in its own direction. And so these are the three types of inertia. Now the basic thing which we have discussed about is the inertia, and now we will discuss about the statement of law of inertia. Its statement is: every body remains in its state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line unless it is compelled by some external force. Means if we want that an object should change its state of rest or of its uniform motion, then some external force should be applied on that object. This is the statement of Newton's first law. If we work according to its statement, then it means that a body remains unaccelerated if and only if the resultant force on it is zero. Means whenever we apply a force on a body and its acceleration on applying that force is zero, it means that the forces are in a balanced condition, because the forces which are applied cannot cause any acceleration in that particular object. But if on applying in any object we find that the object is accelerated, means acceleration is a non-zero quantity, it means that the forces which are applied on that particular object are unbalanced. Hence, we can say that in such a case, when the forces are applied and the acceleration is zero, then it is said that the body is in equilibrium condition. Means it is having the forces, but all the forces which are acting are in the balanced condition. Hence, they are not able to change its state. So students, that's all for today. Thank you.